Can we predict what the future holds for us, for our health and disease? In the old times, people believed that the destiny is in the stars and in their horoscopic signs. In medicine, instead of looking at the stars, we can look into ourselves and map our genes. We have between 20 and 25,000 genes. These genes are the codes for our proteins, anatomy, and physiology in health and in disease. And these genes have hundreds of millions of possible mutations. Some of these mutations are major and directly cause the disease. Other mutations are minor and they just are associations with the disease. So drawing a map of these genes might help us and predict who will get sick and when will that person get sick of heart disease and even of cancer. And we've seen a famous actress, Angelina Jolie. She went for a prophylactic mastectomy because she had the gene that accurately predicts the risk of developing breast cancer. But is it an inevitable destiny or it can be changed? This might seem a bit philosophical, but I assure you that this is very practical and relevant to heart disease. So do genes decide who will have the heart disease? Who's to be blamed for heart disease? The genes that we inherit from our ancestors or the environment where we grow and live? Can the good genes protect us from the hazardous effects of unhealthy lifestyle? And can a good lifestyle buffer our faulty genes? You know the answer by the end of the video. I'm Hussein Heshmat, a professor of cardiology and interventional cardiologist, and welcome to our weekly journal. To answer that question, a group of researchers from the United States National Institute of Health looked at data from more than 10,000 individuals who were followed from 1987 until 2017. They published the results of this research in Circulation issue of March. All the participants were 45 years and older, and they were free of cardiovascular disease at the start. They looked at their genes and their lifestyle to understand which can accurately predict over 30 years the chances of hospitalization by myocardial infarction, dying of heart disease, or requiring a coronary bypass or a coronary angioplasty. They also examined when will someone develop heart disease, or how many years will a person live healthy before developing a heart disease. They examined the genetic profile of the 10,000 subjects by scanning the entire genome, a genome-wide association scan, and profiling 6 million minor genetic changes or mutation that we call single nucleotide polymorphism, SNPs. There are 6 million SNPs and they are associated with the risk of cardiovascular disease. Individuals were categorized into high genetic risk, intermediate genetic risk, and low genetic risk based on this profile. The official name is the polygenic risk score, but for simplicity, we'll call it here the genetic score. It tells whether you have genes that associate with heart disease or protect from heart disease. They also assessed the lifestyle of the 10,000 healthy individuals using the American Heart Association's Life Simple 7 recommendations. The primary 7 indicators of a healthy lifestyle by the American Heart Association are smoking, obesity, physical activity, the nutritional habits and the diet, the blood sugar, the blood pressure, and the blood cholesterol. And in every of these 7 indicators, if it is ideal, then it will take a score of 2. If it is poor, then it will take a score of 0. If it's intermediate, it will take a score of 1. So if someone has never smoked, he takes 2. If he still smokes, he takes 0. If someone exercises 150 minutes every week, so he takes a score of 2. If he doesn't exercise, it's a score of 0. And of course, there are intermediates. If the blood pressure is less than 120, then it's ideal. If it's more than 140/90, it's poor and it takes 0 points. The same applies for blood sugar, same applies for cholesterol. And for diet, it's a bit complicated. They look into how much whole grains, how much vegetables and fruits, the intake of sodium, and the intake of sweetened beverages. And the overall score between 10 and 14 is the ideal. 0 to 4 is considered poor, an unhealthy lifestyle, and 5 to 9 is an intermediate lifestyle. So they looked at both the genetics and the lifestyle. What did they find? Both a high genetic risk and a poor lifestyle, they predicted heart disease. and earlier disease onset. But which one was more impactful on the cardiovascular risk? The genetic score or the lifestyle score? Let's look at the math and try to understand. Individuals with high genetic risk score, the bad genes, 1 in 3 will develop heart disease, where individuals with a poor lifestyle, 1 in 2 will develop heart disease. Almost 50%. This means that an unhealthy lifestyle is more dangerous than bad genes. That's the first proof. An ideal lifestyle score meant that the person would live roughly 16 years longer without having heart disease compared to someone with a poor lifestyle. And the relative impact was more significant for women than for men. It's nice to look at the different permutations to understand more. If your genes are good and your lifestyle is ideal, then most likely you live free of heart disease until the age of 82. If your genes are bad, you may feel unlucky, but you lead an ideal lifestyle, then you can still live free of heart disease until the age of 85, which is great. So forget about the bad genes. Let's look at the other side. If you are leading an unhealthy lifestyle, you will live only to the age of 65 without heart disease, even if your genes are good. So the good genetics cannot rectify an unhealthy lifestyle. So it's clear that genetics do not determine our destiny. This extensive study on healthy individuals proves that a healthy lifestyle can offset the risk conferred by the high-risk genetics. Again, forget about the genes and focus on building healthy habits. How you eat, how much you exercise, the body weight, stop smoking, control your blood pressure, control the blood sugar, and lower the cholesterol. These are much more important than the disease probabilities that we inherit from our ancestors. You can easily ruin your good inherited genes with an unhealthy lifestyle, and you can overcome any bad genes with a healthy lifestyle. And remember William Shakespeare's famous quote in Julius Caesar, "Brutus, the fault is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings." Thank you for watching. If you like the content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and press the bell to get notified of coming episodes. See you next week, and remember to go for a healthy choice.